the details that have come out so far about the DC attempted bomber are fairly clear. And I wish that we had a country, or at the very least a media, where everyone was united in saying political violence is a bad thing and it's not patriotic. It's not something you should aspire to, and not have all of these grifters, some on TV, some just on the internet, inspiring people to think that drastic times call for drastic measures. But unfortunately, in a variety of different forms, that's not the media that we have. And there's either ambiguity, attempts to sanitize these radical movements or apologize for them. And even in the wake of this possible alleged attempted bombing, we do see that. So we gave you information that was very clear and readily available about the potential political motivations of this. So the right, are they going to get that message? Is this a moment where they can potentially learn that there are some who are going too far? We need to step back from the brink? Well, unfortunately, possibly not if they're watching Fox News, because this is how they talked about it.
Man claiming to have a bomb in his truck near the US Capitol surrendered after an hours-long standoff. Law enforcement did not find a bomb in the vehicle, but say they collected possible bomb-making materials. So far, no word on a possible motive. I'm Jackie Ibanez, now back to the Ingram angle.
So that's just not true. There were many words, lots of them, in order, sentences actually, paragraphs of sentences about possible. There were his words about possible motives, but again, a movement does not have to step back from the violence that's becoming a more and more accepted thing. If every time one of them crosses that line and acts on it, the right pretends that it doesn't happen. So this guy, he's not on the right. The Capitol insurrectionists, they're not white supremacists, they're not radicals, they're probably not even Trump supporters. They spent months doing that PR for them. And now we have it immediately spooling up for this individual too. And so this is what Fox News, the most legitimate of the media on the right, does. It shields the right from an understanding of how far some of its members are willing to go. And that unfortunately almost certainly gets us closer to more doing it.
At a time when they are basically focused utterly and nonstop on a potential threat from Afghanistan refugees that aren't here. That's what's so wildly frustrating. It's like, guys, the terrorist threat is the one you're creating on a daily basis. And Charles F. Coleman's on the show all the time, and he says, don't profit off of controversy. That's all that's baked into it. And you see Tucker fanning the flames every single night. People on Fox fanning the flames every single night, conveniently saying, I'm just asking questions. Looking at, there's no doubt in my mind that people at Fox go down the same exact rabbit holes as their audience does. And all they do in their pitch meetings is decide how are they gonna, which parts of those theories and nonsense are they going to call out explicitly, and which ones are they just going to dog whistle at?
Yeah,
or echo, repeat explicitly, and which ones are they gonna dog whistle at? And that's it. And that's what you see playing out right there. They know they can't say it. For as much as they project onto other news outlets this, oh, you're protecting your own personal hidden interests. It is very clear that that guy went there saying, Joe, in denying the outcome of the election, obviously getting into this weird false choice between freedom and vaccination and masks.
Yeah,
like it's psychotic, and they're doing it every day.
Clear.
And if they were to just say this guy is obviously caught up in all of that, and you can even muddy the waters a little bit by saying that the guy's wife says that he has mental issues as a result of not being on the same medication. Like, you've covered your bases and you've been honest. But in this situation, they're saying there's no stated motive. He was out there for hours talking about his motive, saying exactly what he wanted and why he's there.
Yeah, they're not satisfied with covering their bases. They cover the stadium. You can't see anything of anything that's happening. And by the way, he is a white attempted domestic terrorist. So this is all playing out the way we would expect. They took him alive. He's got a multi-billion-dollar media network doing PR for him to protect him from any analysis of what happened. The mental health possibility, the issue, the potential that he has mental health problems, which, by the way, is obviously a part of virtually every single person who is willing to commit any act of violence in a civilized society, becomes a huge part of the story, more so than, like, how clear does a white domestic terrorist need to make their agenda for people to accept it? Like, when it's a black, like it, I don't even, like, again, not right. Political violence, because those virtually never happen. But a black person gets killed, they dig into their past to try to find any sin they've ever committed to be an explanation for it. This guy's like, it's not even a written manifesto. You don't even have to read it. He's shouting it at you live to thousands of people, and they pretend that it doesn't exist. No, really fast, I understand, we gotta break it a sec, but this ties into it. You have the media, the most mainstream of right-wing media defending him. You have literal elected Republicans apologizing for him. So here is what was put out by Mo Brooks, a guy who participated in the rally with Trump on January 6th, said, "I'm aware of the Capitol bomb threat. I'm monitoring the situation. I am in Alabama. My Washington staff is accounted for and safe. I pray for the safety of Capitol Police and first responders on the scene in Washington. Sadly, violence and threats of violence targeting America's political institutions are far too common." Right there, if it ended there, that's a great statement to put out when a bomber's in DC. Unfortunately, that's less than half the statement. He said, "Although this terrorist motivation is not yet publicly known, and generally speaking, I understand citizenry anger directed at dictatorial socialism and its threat to liberty, freedom, and the very fabric of American society." The sentence ends there. I don't know what the generally speaking was for. "The way to stop socialism's march is for patriotic Americans to fight back in the 2022 and 2024 elections. I strongly encourage patriotic Americans to do exactly that, more so than ever before. Bluntly stated, America's future is at risk." The only takeaway from that is, look, I get it, man. I get what this terrorist is thinking. They are dictators and they are gonna take away your liberty. The future of America is at risk. But like, let's do the election thing instead. Like, imagine if Ilhan Omar put a statement like that about a Muslim terrorist who had some sort of political objective. How defensive and apologetic is this elected representative of what that guy was doing? He was threatening to blow up the Library of Congress, potentially killing dozens, hundreds of pages, people who work there, other elected representatives, civilians walking by. And Mo Brooks' first thought is, I get it. I get the thing that drove you to pack your truck full of ammonium nitrate and drive to DC.
This is baked into, I mean, you have a lot of interesting analogs and flip sides of the same coin, and then you get to see if they actually are the same coin. So like Lauren Boebert said, the only people who are building back better are the Taliban.
Yeah.
If Ilhan Omar had said anything like that, done.
Yep.
Well, you look at
if she retweeted that same tweet, she would get censured.
Yeah, and also at the second half of this whole thing is a wink at the people who think that this guy's a hero. That's the difference. Mm-hmm. Is like there's plenty of people who say, like, look at Palestine. They're like, listen, when someone takes a suicide bomb into a crowded marketplace, no matter what side they're on, and if they're in Gaza or wherever, in Israel, I denounce that, but I don't think we should lock up children and families, right? Because that's what my mind went. Is like there's tons of stuff where people on the left say, I think I understand the plight of these people that you are vilifying, and who there's been deaths committed by people theoretically on that side. But the difference is you're talking about families on one end, and then you're talking about like unhinged terrorists.
Yeah.
And then you're motivating more stuff like that. How do I know? Mo Brooks, you wore body armor to the January 6th rally because you knew there are folks like that out there. And you're still indicating that you want to support them. And that's why I read the second half of his entire stupid statement as a giant wink.
It is.
Go ahead.
100% is.
Wink. And I need that. And most nefarious of it all. And it's the stuff we get mad at everybody for. Why are you keeping these problems around? An election. Why are you keeping money in politics? An election. Why aren't you following through on your campaign promises, Democrats? An election. Why are you fomenting terrorism with giant, long, twice as long as a normal tweet, so you had to take a screenshot of it? Things like this. An election. Wink. That's what's so frustrating to me.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.